Detroit will face the Packers later today. The Lions coming off a 15-win season, and as often happens to a #1 seed, Detroit staff got raided. Offensive wizard Ben Johnson left Motown to be the new head coach of the division rival Chicago Bears, while defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn took off for the Jets. Denver's John Morton takes over on offense. Kelvin Shepard got promoted on defense as the new coordinator, but Gronk losing both coordinators in the same offseason, does that spell trouble?
Well, Detroit Lions are used to lose. Sorry about that. The Detroit Lions are used to losing both of their coordinators every year because they were always really so bad back in the day and always got fired. Right. All right, but this is a total different ballgame. They lost them to head coaching jobs now. That just shows where the Lions organization is now. And don't expect the defense to really be any different because they promoted within the linebacker coach, Kelvin Shepard. It's going to be the same type of schemes because he learned from defensive coordinator from last year, Aaron Glenn. But there's going to be a little learning curve on the offensive side of the ball because they went and got the passing coordinator from Denver. But expect them to still be a high-powered offense because they got that core nucleus of players led by Jared Goff. So they're still going to put up points, and they're going to lead off from where they were last year and be dominant still.
It's a fascinating division. You know, Green Bay, it's kind of an interesting team. They're the youngest team in football. They won 11 games last year. They were 1-5 in the division. Jordan Love injured week 1 in Brazil, and I don't think he was healthy for the majority of the season. I'm not sure if he was ever healthy. He struggled with turnovers. The wide receiver room struggled with drops. They were bottom 5 in drops. They couldn't get pressure. Micah Parsons takes care of that if they get the Jordan Love that they had 2 years ago down the stretch. They're golden. Speaking of golden, they're #1 pick. There's a lot of buzz about him being the #1 receiver they've wanted for a couple of years. I think this team could not only win the division, but be a Super Bowl contender with the talent they have. And they're the youngest team in football. It's scary.
Two other teams who think they're Super Bowl contenders as well will get together, and it's the last two MVPs as well in Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Now, since they were both drafted in 2018, the Bills have the 3rd most wins in the regular season. The Ravens, well, they're 2nd in the NFL. Of course, they both trail the Kansas City Chiefs, who lead the way, and Patrick Mahomes has never lost to either team. So, TB, this is a regular season matchup to start the year, but for these two teams, it's a bigger goal than that.
Well, it is. Listen, it's so hard when you're that good between Buffalo and Baltimore to not think, let's get the season over with and get to the playoffs. Neither one of these teams have gotten to the Super Bowl. It's hard to believe that you can have 2 MVPs in the league. One of them, look, Jackson for Baltimore, the quarterback last year, 41 touchdown passes, 900 and something yards rushing. All right, that screams MVP. He lost it to the other guy, Josh Allen. The only thing I can see that changes, it makes the difference between these two teams and maybe these two quarterbacks is this. When you get in these big games that get you to the Super Bowl, you got to find a comfort zone you've never been in before. Because if I point out one thing, Howie, Michael, Gronk, Curt, it's this. When you look at the last 2 years for the Baltimore Ravens, what's the difference? Turnovers. 3 turnovers against Kansas City at home, mind you, and then 3 turnovers in Buffalo last year, and they lose both of those games. Clean up the turnovers, find a comfort zone. Boy, either one of these teams can go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Yeah.
Man, I love Josh Allen. I love everything he represents. I love James Cook. This is a great team that they have right here. But they're 0-5 between them, Baltimore and Buffalo. 0-5 against KC. So they got to get over that hump. But I almost feel like this season isn't so much about KC. It's about those two against each other. I think it may come down to that. But you look at Buffalo, and they put everything into this season. They won the division 5 years straight. They have 20 of 22 starters returning. They brought in Joey Bosa. They have loaded up for success this year because they're looking for that one piece to get them over the edge. And I do feel like this is the year that Buffalo shows up. And the biggest challenge, like I said, is going to be Baltimore. I feel
game could determine home field.